Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Music Den. I'm your host Armando Venditti. Hoping you guys are having a good day and that you're looking after yourselves and one another. In this episode of the Music Den, I have a documentary review to do for you. It is this particular documentary right here, Echo in the Canyon. Notice a nice shot of a Rickenbacker guitar on the front cover. Now, Echo in the Canyon was released back in May of 2019 through Greenwich Entertainment. It was directed by Andrew Slater, written by Eric Barrett and Andrew Slater. The interviews for this documentary were conducted by Jacob Dylan, son of Bob Dylan, and the inspiration for this documentary was from a movie called Model Shop, released in 1969 through Columbia Pictures, a film done by Jacques Demy. Now, when you look back on the music scene in LA in the 1960s, one of the most, if not the most, influential areas of LA was the neighborhood of Laurel Canyon. It was considered an upper scale, affluent neighborhood. In the 1930s and 40s, you had actors and directors that lived in the area. But it wasn't until around the early 1960s, around 1962, 63, where you had artists, musicians that would start to move into the area. Most notably, one of the first acts that would move into Laurel Canyon was the group The Byrds, featuring Roger McGuinn and David Crosby. According to Jacob Dylan during this documentary, once the Byrds moved in, everyone flocked to Laurel Canyon. It was considered to be a real peaceful time, an inspirational time, a fertile time for creativity amongst artists. You had other artists that would soon move to Laurel Canyon, artists such as um, Graham Nash from the Hollies. He had quit the Hollies and he moved to Laurel Canyon. Joni Mitchell, uh, Buffalo Springfield. The time period that people usually talk about when they talk about in the years of where it was basically a hotbed are 1963 to 1971. But this particular documentary focuses on the years 1965 to 1967. It wasn't until about 1969 when certain events happened that I won't go into that basically rocked the foundation of the neighborhood of Laurel Canyon. People basically feared for their safety. And there was a lot of protests going on with the police that happened around 1966, which inspired the group Buffalo Springfield to write the song For What It's Worth. Um, but again, every era of music has its basic peak period. And from what I got from this documentary was that the years of 65 to 67 were basically one of the most um, revered times in music history. In this documentary, you have Tom Petty featured in his what's believed to be his last on-camera interview for the documentary. And in the documentary, you have such artists featured as, again, Tom Petty, Brian Wilson, Ringo Starr, Eric Clapton, Stephen Stills, Roger McGuinn, Michelle Phillips of the Mamas and Papas, David Crosby, Graham Nash, Jackson Brown, John Sebastian of the Living Spoonful, and music and film producer Lou Adler. Okay. Now, in terms of the footage that is uh, provided in this movie, there is archival footage of the Beatles, the Beach Boys, and the Mamas and Papas. Okay. The artists that they talk to, Michelle Phillips particularly, goes into great detail about how she and John Phillips wrote the song California Dreamin'. They were in New York and originally, and Michelle Phillips wanted to go back to California, And John Phillips did not want to go back because he said everything is happening. The music scene is in New York City. We can't go back to LA. But all of their friends, you know, groups like the Byrds, etc., had left New York and they went to LA, specifically Laurel Canyon. And what I got from this documentary was a sense of community. I mean, it was nothing for, let's say, Mama Cass of the Mamas and Papas to throw a barbecue, which she did. She threw an infamous barbecue, which you would see still shots in the film. You see them of Eric Clapton sitting on the back lawn in the backyard, sitting on the grass, watching Joni Mitchell do a tuning on her guitar, an open tuning on her guitar, and he would watch her hands on the fretboard like crazy to figure out how in the hell she was able to do something like that. Okay, and Eric Clapton at that point was considered to be very shy. Okay, but you have stories of people like Jimi Hendrix dropping by Mickey Dolenz's place, Mickey Dolenz of the Monkees. And there are shots of Mickey Dolenz and Ringo Starr and George Harrison and Peter Tork all sitting around and jamming. There's a shot in the documentary, a still shot of George Harrison playing his sitar on Mickey Dolenz's living room floor. So again, this documentary, I mean, what I got from it was a loving snapshot of what it was like back in the years between 1965 to 1967. Okay. And how, in some ways, in every possible way, sorry, it can never be duplicated. There was only a certain period of time where something like this could ever happen. And intermingled in the documentary are performances done at the Orpheum Theater in Los Angeles, done by Jacob Dylan and his backing band. And on the bill with Jacob Dylan, you have such vocalists as Beck, Regina Spektor, Cat Power, Nora Jones, performing numbers from the Mamas and the Papas, Loving Spoonful, the Beach Boys. And there is a soundtrack to this documentary, Echo in the Canyon, released through BMJ Music. Okay. So please check this out. Again, I'll show you the cover here. Sorry, guys. One more time. Here we go. Echo in the Canyon. You can get this Blu-ray on Amazon. You can get it at your local record shop. I paid around $32.50 for this documentary. Unfortunately, well, you can also get it on Blu-ray. Unfortunately, the other documentary of Laurel Canyon released through Epic's streaming services, you can only get that documentary in Region 2 format on Blu-ray and DVD, where it'll play in Europe, but it won't play in North America. So if you can get your hands on Echo in the Canyon, please do. It is a good documentary. It is a fantastic time capsule of how the music scene was in Laurel Canyon in the mid 1960s. It only runs for about 82 minutes. It's not very long at all. I thought it would have been longer, but I was wrong. But again, please check it out. You can check out little snippets of it on YouTube. You can't get the whole documentary, unfortunately. So that's it for now. Please click like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to keep yourselves on top of any new content I've got coming up. Also, if you know of this documentary, Echo in the Canyon, please put your comments down there, down below, and let me know what you think of this documentary. All right. So that's it for now. Please look after yourselves and one another, and I will be back with more videos. I am going to be doing an album ranking on the band Tool. Progressive metal band Tool. And I'm also going to be doing more shows with Bill Schuster. We're going to be doing another segment on our top 30 prog tracks We're going to do hopefully parts 2 and 3 pretty soon. So that's it for now. Please look after yourselves again and one another, and I'll see you soon with another video. Bye for now.